It is Thanksgiving Eve today, and we got a whole lot of football to talk about today. The college football playoff rankings came out last night, and we're going to have to discuss them. We're going to have to discuss who's still in it, who has no chance, who's too high, who's too low, and how this weekend's games could affect college football rankings going into the conference championship games next Saturday. Plus, it is going to be, I'm going to do my picks early this week because of the holiday. So I will do my picks for the 5 biggest matchups in college football for the last weekend of the regular season. Plus, I will pick all the games for the NFL for the Thanksgiving weekend. We're going to do it and all that today on the pre-Thanksgiving edition of the Total Sports Ozone. Big O with the Big Mouth coming at you on Thanksgiving Eve, November 26th, 2025. And I want to say this already. I hope you and yours have a safe and fun and filling Thanksgiving weekend. Now that we got that all the way, let's get right into it. College football playoff rankings, current rankings were released last night. And here's how it looks. We got Arizona coming in at 25. We got Tulane coming in at 24. Right now, they're the highest ranking team from the group of 5 in the current rankings, as I can see. Georgia Tech probably fell the biggest. They were around, I think they were 14th or 15th last week, and they didn't take care of business, so they fell all the way down to 23, and Pittsburgh jumped them. Then they should have jumped them. They beat them in their house, so Pittsburgh should be ranked higher than Georgia Tech in these current college football playoff rankings, so they come in at 22. SMU sticking around at number 21. Arizona State goes up to number 20. Now, here's where it gets interesting to me. From 17 all the way up to maybe 11. 12 at the best. You got Tennessee at 19. You got Virginia at 18. You got USC somehow sticking around the teens area, even after their loss to Oregon. They're sticking around at 17. You got Texas with 3 losses, still hanging around the teens at 16. You got Michigan moving all the way up to 15. Oh, I should say that team up north. I'm sorry. You got Vanderbilt at 14. I think they didn't move. Or no, I don't think Vanderbilt moved. Utah is at 13. You got Miami of Florida coming in at 12. BYU at number 11. Now, that's what we're going to talk. We're going to discuss the teams, the rankings in the teams in a minute. Alabama comes in at 10. Notre Dame at 9. Oklahoma is up to 8. They didn't move. Ole Miss got jumped by Oregon. Ole Miss went down the spot. They went from 6 to 7. And Oregon jumped them to go to 6. And Texas Tech moved all the way up to number 5. And the top 4 teams stayed the same from last week. Georgia at 4, Texas A&M at 3, Indiana at number 2, and Ohio State at number 1. Now, let's get into this a little bit. My area of concern is the teams. The teens area. From pretty much 13, 12, 13, all the way down to 19. How about this? Why is Virginia behind Texas? How many losses have Virginia got? I don't care who Texas beat. They have 3 losses. You can call them quality losses. Well, 2 of the 3 losses were, you can call them quality losses. Yeah. Okay. I give you that. Lost to Georgia. Lost to Ohio State. Lost to Florida, though. That Florida loss should knock the loss to Florida, which is a bad loss, should knock Texas all the way down to the 20s. They should be in the 20s. I'm just being honest. They should be in the 20s. It's like the committee is trying to do everything and anything possible to get Texas into the college football playoff. But they don't deserve it. In my eyes, they don't deserve to get in, no matter what they do against Texas A&M this Saturday. They don't deserve it. They have 3 losses. You can call 2 of those losses quality losses. Yes, they beat Oklahoma. Yes, I saw that. Yes, they beat Vanderbilt. Cool. But you lost to a bad Florida team. Tennessee went down to Florida and beat the living snot out of them. You technically should be behind Tennessee. Based on common opponent, Tennessee beat the snot out of Florida in the swamp, and you lost, and Texas lost badly to Florida in the swamp. So why is Texas higher than Virginia than Tennessee? I don't think they belong. I don't even think they should be in the teens. They should be in the 20s. I think SMU should be higher than Texas. They don't got 2 losses. 1 loss in conference. They don't got 2 losses. I honestly think, hell, I think Georgia Tech, even though they lost, they should be ranked higher than Texas. I'm sorry, but you lost 3 games, and that Florida loss is inexcusable. That Florida loss should knock Texas out of any hope. You know, when you lost to Georgia, okay, it's a quality loss because you lost to a quality opponent. When you lost to Ohio State, first game of the season, you lost to a quality opponent who's been number 1 ever since that loss, ever since Texas lost to him. Ohio State's been right there. But the Florida loss should have knocked Texas out of any hope of getting to the college football playoff. And at that time, they only had, that was only their 2nd loss. But when they lost to Georgia, that Florida loss should loom large in the eyes of the committee. You lost to a very bad team. Tennessee didn't. The Texas thing is like, it seems to me the committee, I'll say it again, it seems to me the committee is smitten on getting Texas into the college football playoff with 3 losses. And I'm saying, hell, you didn't let Alabama lay in last year when they had 3 losses. You let Alabama in. Was good for the goose. Texas has lost 3 games. I know who they beaten. I understand all that, but they did lose 3 games, including 1 very bad loss to Florida. That's a bad loss. If we're going to talk about the merits of losses, how quality losses, good losses, bad losses, the Florida loss was bad. It was bad. I don't care if it was a close loss. You lost. Tennessee went down to Florida and beat the crap out of them. Tennessee, rightfully, with 3 losses, should be higher than Texas. It should be higher than Texas. I'm just saying. Virginia should be higher than everybody in this row. Should be higher than them. The USC, the Tennessee, Arizona State, Virginia should be right there. Because let's look at it like this. If Virginia win this weekend, they're going to the ACC championship game. So why are they ranked? Texas can't go. USC can't. Tennessee can't. They can't go. No matter what they do this weekend, they cannot make it to their respective conference championship games. So why in the hell is Texas ranked higher than Virginia, than Tennessee? Somebody needs to explain that to me. And I don't want to hear, oh, they beat Oklahoma. Oh, they beat Vanderbilt. So, you lost to Florida. That should tell the committee you too much of a yo-yo. And Texas is too much of a roller coaster. I mean, they're up one week, down the next. Or they down one week and they up the next 2 weeks and they go down and they go back up. No consistency with Texas. To me, they're like the Pittsburgh Steelers. You don't know what you're going to get from them from 1 week to the next. You just don't know. You get whooped by Georgia, come back and whoop Arkansas. I don't know what they're going to get this week against Texas A&M. You don't let a team that inconsistent with 3 losses into the college football playoff. But here we are, Texas at 16, which means a couple of things shake out for them. They could see what we get in. Now, can't do nothing about the rankings. But it seems like to me, the only way you can even think about putting Texas into the college football playoff is if, A, they not only beat Texas A&M, but I mean beat the bricks off them. Blow them off the field. And I ain't seen a team yet that's come close to doing that to Texas A&M. Oh, yeah, South Carolina came close. They did it for a half. But other than that, I haven't seen any team come close to blowing Texas A&M off the field. And that's the only way I see Texas even have a chance of having a remote of a chance of even thinking about having a chance to get into the college football playoff. That's A. B, Vanderbilt, Utah, Miami, and BYU all would have to take some surprising losses this weekend. Then you might think about Texas. Then you might think about it, even with 3 losses. But I'm thinking the Florida loss should be the biggest hurdle for Texas, no matter what they do to Texas A&M. That was a bad loss. It simply was. It was a bad loss. And Tennessee went down in the swamp and beat them. Again, Tennessee, in my eyes, Tennessee and Virginia should be the rank higher than Texas. And what about USC? They didn't drop as far as most people would think after they lost to Oregon. And I went on record last week and said the Oregon USC game would have been a college football playoff eliminator. Loser of that has no chance. I don't think USC is going to get in because I don't think the committee is going to let more than 4 Big Ten teams get in. I don't see that. So they could be just in there just for show. But they should not be ranked higher than Virginia. Virginia won last week. UC didn't. And this definitely shouldn't be ranked. I mean, to me, the committee just shows no love to the ACC whatsoever. The way, if you look at these rankings, the committee just shows no love whatsoever to the ACC. They were showing a little bit of love to Georgia Tech, and then they blew it. Had the chance to get that berth into the ACC championship game. Was at home last weekend to Pittsburgh, and they blew it. Just straight up blew it. No ifs, ands, buts, maybes about it. So it's like the committee's not showing the ACC no love. None. They're giving the only love they're giving is to Miami. They want Miami in the playoffs. You could tell that. They hanging around at 12. They want the Miami Hurricanes in the playoffs. I wonder if it's because they beat Notre Dame. And everybody know, long as Notre Dame don't spit the bit this weekend, they're going in. They'll be in. I wonder if it has something to do with that. But it just doesn't make no sense to me why SMU, Virginia, Tennessee are all ranked lower than a 3-loss Texas team. That makes no sense to me whatsoever. None. Now, we know this is going to look different next week. It's definitely going to look different next week because we got all these rivalries playing. Ohio State playing that team up north. Georgia playing Georgia Tech. A&M playing Texas. Alabama got to go to the Iron Bowl, and that's not no guarantee they're going to win that game. A lot of the odds makers say that there's no guarantee that they'll win that game. It is in Auburn, and it's crazier things have happened. So these rankings are going to look different, and if that team up north beats number 1 for the 5th year in a row, this is going to throw this whole thing in chaos. This is going to throw it all. It's all going to go in chaos. Trust me. But as it stands right now, this is your top 25 rankings as of November 25th, 2025. And not just have a problem with Texas being that high. I think they're too high. I think they should be lower than Virginia, Tennessee, and SMU. They have 3 losses. It's like when you look at this, it's like they have a chance. They will have to blow out Texas A&M, and that's the only chance they have. They can't just get by Texas A&M, squeak by on a last-second field goal or something like that. You got to blow A&M off the field. And I just don't see that happening. Do you? Do you think A&M? Do you think Texas has the chance to blow A&M off the field? Not the way they've been playing. I don't see it. I believe Texas can beat Texas A&M simply because they're at home, but I don't think they're going to blow them away. I think it's going to come down to the very end. We'll get into my picks a little bit later. But Texas should not be that high with 3 losses, especially a bad loss to Florida. They got 2 quality losses here, but they have 1 bad loss. And Tennessee beat that team that beat Texas. Tennessee should be higher than Texas at the minimum. But then in SMU, they should be higher than Virginia. They're playing for a berth in the ACC championship game. At least they're playing for a conference championship game appearance. Texas ain't. USC ain't. So why are they higher than Virginia? At least they got it right with Michigan. Michigan has a chance. That team up north, I keep saying that. So I believe Virginia should be, if not behind or right beside that team up north at 15. If we're going by the letter of the law when it comes to losses, Virginia should be either tied for 15th or 16th. Tennessee should be 16th to 17th, and Texas should be 20th. They should be in there just for show. Because with 3 losses, like I said, the only thing I can see them getting to the playoffs is that they would have to beat A&M like they stole something. And I don't see that happening. Do you? Do you see that happening? Hit me up with a comment. Don't forget to like and subscribe. But let me know. Do you see that happening? I don't. Well, that's your top 25 for the college football playoff released last night, November 25th, 2025. This, we all know, is fluid, and this little rankings will look totally different it has to make it to be completely blown out the water next Tuesday's rankings come out. We'll just see what happens, what capitulates over this weekend. All right. Big O with the big mouth, Total Sports Ozone. Now, real quick, I know they talked about it, but the Lane Kiffin scenario or situation, I'm gonna give my 2 cents about it. Lane Kiffin, I think he's earned the right for what he's done at Ole Miss over the last 3 years. He's earned the right to have a sit down and a confab with the LSU and the Florida as of being their next head coach. He's earned that right. He's earned that based on how he's. This is to me the most sustained success I've seen from Ole Miss in my lifetime. In my lifetime. I mean, 3 straight 10-win seasons from Ole Miss, and possible making it into the college football playoff this year. The records speak for themselves. Got one of the more exciting teams in college football playing. The record speaks for itself. So Lane Kiffin, to me, has earned the right to hear what LSU and Florida has to say. But this is how I feel, and Ricardo, that should happen after Ole Miss's season has ended. I'm sorry. Lane Kiffin should be concentrating everything on the team he's with now. I mean, damn, they're ranked in the top 10. They're more than likely going to make it to the college football playoff. I know they're a long shot to make it to the SEC championship game, but they definitely are going to make it to the college football playoff. Don't see a way why they won't make it. Doesn't Lane Kiffin owe it to his players, his current coaching staff, his current team, and the school he's at right now to be focusing 125% on the team he's with now? I mean, the season's not over yet. He should be concentrating on them, not LSU and Florida. They can wait. You didn't tell them to fire their coach midway through the season. You didn't tell them to do that. So those 2 schools can wait until, if they so gung-ho on getting Lane Kiffin, I feel those 2 schools can wait till after Ole Miss's season has ended. Whether it be they done in the playoffs or they win a national title, they need to wait. I know we got the transfer portal coming up and the NIL and the next recruiting cycle coming up. So I know they want to be. I know those schools would love to have a head coach in place before all those come about. The next transfer portal window and the NIL and all that good stuff. But that shouldn't be an indictment on Lane Kiffin. Y'all fired y'all coaches. Y'all the one that has looking for a new head coach. Let Lane Kiffin coach the team he's with now until their season is finished. They got too much riding going on. They got too much going on. And this Lane Kiffin stuff could be a distraction to the rest of the team. Right when you're about to go into the college football playoff, it's not a good time for no distractions. Y'all know it and I know it. Not a couple of weeks before you go, not about 3-4 weeks before you go into the college football playoff. You don't need no distractions like, is Lane Kiffin going to stay? Is Lane Kiffin going to go to Florida or LSU? We need to know by such and such a date. That's a distraction that team doesn't need right now. Hell, you're playing the arch rival this Saturday. Mississippi State with the damn cowbells. Couldn't all this wait until after that game? That's all I'm saying. This team, you don't need to be. throwing them any distractions when they're trying to win a national title, which would be the first in Mississippi in who knows how long. I know my parents were probably still kids, or even, I don't even know they were thought of yet the last time Ole Miss won a national title, if they won any. Sitting Lane Kiffin's complete focus be on that mission instead of worrying about where he's going next. That can wait till after the season's ended. At least that's what I think. What about you? You can always drop a comment. I'll read them. And please don't forget to like and subscribe. Big O in the big mouth in the Total Sports Ozone. Now, I normally make my picks on Friday. I know I usually pick on Friday, but I probably won't be doing a show tomorrow and Friday for the holiday. And y'all probably won't be watching either. Y'all going to be where y'all at with your families, Jordan the 3 F's. Family, food, and football. I know that's what I'm going to be doing. So, I'm going to make my picks today. So, today is an early Pick on Friday. Now, 5 of the biggest games in college football for the last weekend of the regular season. Now, as you know, or if you don't know, I always use the spread. I always pick against the spread, either for it or against it, and I always pick the over. I do the over and under. I will not tell you what sports books or betting services I use because I'm not getting paid to do that. So, but I'm just telling you, there are 2 prominent sports books that everybody know, and I pick off the current picks, off the current odds as of right now. So, that being said, my little legal disclaimer. Let's go. The 5 biggest games, or at least I think are the biggest games for this weekend. Last weekend in college football. Let's kick it off with first big game, Georgia and Georgia Tech. Non-conference game, so this game will not matter to either team in their respective conference rank standings, but it is the border war in Georgia, and this time it could go a long way determining if one or both of these teams, which one of these 2 teams make it to the college football playoff. Especially with Georgia Tech, they need this game to show the committee that last week was a fluke. Last week was a fluke, and they need this game. And this is a neutral site game. This game is being played at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. So you would think it leans to the Georgia Tech. But y'all also got to remember, Athens is only an hour's drive from Atlanta. So there's going to be a probably good mix, half and half, of Georgia Tech fans and Georgia Bulldogs fans. So to me, neither team has any kind of home field advantage in this one. Georgia Tech, however, is favored by 13.5 with an over-under of 59.5. Up until last week, I thought Georgia Tech was my sleeper pick to get not just win the ACC, but to get in the college football playoff and might even do some damage. But I must have been listening to all the other college sports talk entities when all analysts and everybody, when they kept saying they were worried about Georgia Tech's defense. And then I saw them play against Pittsburgh. And I'm worried about their defense. For roughly 2.5 quarters in that game against Pittsburgh, Georgia Tech couldn't stop anybody if they had the door closed with a lock. Their defense was just wishy-washy, leaked like a sieve. Let Pittsburgh run all over, under, and through them all night, pretty much. And no definite for 2 or 3 quarters. Now you got Georgia coming in, who's ranked 4th in the country. And they're trying to show the committee, we we deserve a bye. They can't. If they can make, they need some help to make it to the SEC championship game. But they want to show the committee we deserve that first round bye. Right now they're in the fourth spot to get that first round bye. So they're going to want to take it to Georgia Tech, and I believe they will. I just not sold on Georgia Tech's defense holding Georgia at bay long enough for Georgia Tech's offense to kick in and win the game. I don't see that. I just can't see that. Gunnar Stockton has improved, and that defense has gotten a lot better. It's gotten a lot better than it was, I thought, earlier in the year. So, that being said, I think Georgia Tech is going to win this game, and I'll give the 13.5. I think they'll win by 2, maybe 3 scores. The over-under 59.5, we're going to take the over on that one. Again, Georgia Tech's defense leaves a lot to be desired. It does. If they can get their butts kicked at home like that to Pittsburgh, just don't think their defense can hold Georgia down for only so long. I take Tech. No, I take Georgia. Later 13.5. I take the over on the 59.5. That game is Friday at 3:30 Eastern in Atlanta at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, neutral site game. Next, big one, pretty much the Lone Star Showdown. I call it the Lone Star Showdown. Lone Star State Showdown. Texas A&M, number 3, going to number 16, Texas. The current odds are Texas with a 2.5 point favorite with over under 51.5. This is whose quarterback is going to make the less mistakes? This is the one that's going to win this game. Will it be Reed or will it be Arch Manning? The quarterback that makes the less mistakes will win this game, in my humble opinion. But will that be enough? Like I just been discussing, will that be enough to put Texas into the college football playoff with 3 losses? Like I said, Texas will have to blow Texas A&M out of that stadium, in my opinion, before they can even think about having the committee thinking about having any possibility of worrying about, given the possibility of thinking of putting Texas into the college football playoff with 3 losses. Texas will have to blow Texas A&M out of the water and get some help. They're going to need a whole lot of help before I think Texas should be allowed in with 3 losses. But the first step is to beat A&M. And like I said, the team whose quarterback makes the least amount of mistakes will win this game. And I think it's going to be Reed. I like A&M to go into Austin at the Memorial Stadium and pick Texas off. I'll take Texas and minus the 2.5, and I'll go under on the over-under 51.5. Don't think it's going to be that many points scored. No, I don't think so. All right. Next, monumental game, big-time game this weekend. We got Vanderbilt at Tennessee. Vanderbilt at Tennessee. Vanderbilt comes in ranked 14th. Tennessee is 19th. This is basically a de facto college playoff eliminator. Whoever loses this game ain't going. I know Vanderbilt's had a great season. They beat us a bunch of had a bunch of big wins. But if they lose this game, they're done. I think they're done for the college football playoff. So is Tennessee if they lose this game. Oddsbook has Tennessee favorite at minus 2.5 with an over under 65.5. I need to see more from Tennessee's defense They can get scored on at will sometime. Ask Georgia. Ask Alabama. They can get scored on at will sometimes. Hell, even Arkansas put up some points against these boys. Can they hold Vanderbilt off to doing that? Can they hold them off well enough for Tennessee's offense to take control of this game like they do in the second half of their games? That's the question. Diego Maivia from Vanderbilt, he should be a Heisman Trophy finalist. He is that good. He should be a Heisman Trophy finalist. Don't know if he will be, but he should be. But he will need to play the game of his life, in my opinion. He's already done that once when he beat Alabama last year. He needs to play the game of his life to beat Tennessee and keep themselves in the mix for a college football playoff spot. I believe if they beat Tennessee, especially being on the road, that might be enough to get them in. Do I think they'll do it? Yes. I believe in Tennessee, in Vanderbilt. Diego Maivia, I believe in Vanderbilt. So I'll take the Vanderbilt Commodores. Give me the 2.5, and I'll go on the over and under of 65.5. I believe Vanderbilt can do it and put themselves in a great position to make the college football playoff. This will be the feather in their cap for a great year if they can go beat their arch rival, Tennessee, in their house and submit their ticket to the college football playoff. Because if they beat Tennessee, they're in. I believe they'll be in. No doubt about it. All right, let me grab one more. One more. We got, of course, the Iron Bowl. Oh, yeah, of course, the Iron Bowl. What was I thinking? The Iron Bowl. Oh, yeah, the Texas A&M game is scheduled for Friday. Friday, 7:30. Primetime game, Friday, 7:30 Eastern. The Georgia Tech game is Friday, 3:30 Eastern. Now, let's look at the Iron Bowl. Yeah, it's another significant game because it could not. Well, it could give one team a pretty steep climb to make the college football playoff. Is that right? It could. Let me find it. There you go. Auburn, Alabama, the Iron Bowl. We got Auburn favored by only 3.5 on the Plains. They're only favored by 3.5 with over under 46.5. So, actually, right now the spread went up to 6.5 for Alabama. Over and under still 46.5. So the current spread is 6.5. This you can't really call you're not going to call this a trap game if you're Alabama. This is your traditional rival. This is the Iron Bowl. Probably the second or third best college football rivalry out there. So you're not overlooking Auburn, no matter how bad Auburn is. Even though Auburn needs this game to become bowl eligible. And with everything they've been through this year, with firing the coach, the lack of the offense, this would, I said it earlier, nothing those Auburn fans would love better than to ruin Alabama's season and possibly knock them out of the college football playoff. They have 2 losses. They lose to an unranked Auburn team. Don't care if it's a traditional rival. I don't think the committee's going to care. They lose to an unranked Auburn team. That might knock them out. It will definitely knock them out of the SEC championship because all Alabama has to do is win and they're in. But if they lose this game, not only will it knock them out of the SEC title game, it could conceivably knock them out of the college football playoff. Could knock them all the way out. So Auburn has a lot of incentive riding on this. They got just as much incentive as Alabama does. which is why this game, in my eyes, could go either way. Normally, I pick the home team when it comes to the Iron Bowl, but the home team isn't, especially Auburn's the home team. They ain't prone to good time holding leads. So I'm going to take Alabama in this one. Not by I don't think they'll win by 6.5 though. I'll take Alabama to win it. I'll take Auburn to cover it. I think Alabama will win this by 4 points or less. I think it's going to be a slobber knocker on the Plains. The over under 46.5. I'm going to take the over on that. I'll take the over on the over under. But I think Alabama will win the game, but I think Auburn will cover the spread. All right. Last and definitely not least, I know y'all know where I'm going with this. Last but definitely not least, the biggest game of the weekend, the game. That's right. Ohio State and that school up north. Oh yeah, the Auburn Alabama game is scheduled for 7:30 Saturday. 7:30 p.m. Saturday. Yep. 7:30 p.m. Saturday Eastern Time. Now, the Big E, the game. The only game that matters when you these two teams. Ohio State, that team up north. All the other games, especially if you're Ohio State, all those games they played beforehand have been preliminaries. They've been pretty much a whole year of warm-ups, whole year of preseason. Here is where their season starts. Here, this Saturday, is where their season starts. Because from this Saturday on until they either win the whole damn thing or they lose along the way, every game they're playing will be against a ranked opponent. So they have no excuses. So there will be no excuses. I don't want to hear nothing from the fans. I don't want to hear nothing from the haters. Because from here on, we're gonna know once and for all what the 2026 Ohio 2025 Ohio State Buckeyes is all about. And it starts Saturday. On the road in Ann Arbor, playing that school up north, trying to break a 4-game losing streak to their arch rival. Current odds have Ohio State favored by 9.5 with over under of 43.5. Now, I gotta separate this from what I want and what I wish. I wish Ohio State to win, of course. I want Ohio State. Now, what I think will happen, it all depends on Ohio State getting at least one of the two banged up receivers back. Either or, Jeremiah Smith, Carnell Tate. They got to have one of them on the field if they want to have a chance to win this game, in my opinion. Now, from what I've last heard, Jeremiah Smith says he's going to play. He said he could have played last week, but he didn't want to chance it or making that injury worse. But he said this is the game. He says he's going to play. So I have to believe in the fact that he will be in that starting lineup when they take on that team up north Saturday. They had Carnell Tate. I will say Ohio State. If I'm sure that a Carnell Tate will be available for this game, Ohio State should win this game in a walk. They should win this game in a walk, in my opinion. But then again, you throw out the stats, the rankings, the records. You throw all that out when the game is on. When Ohio State and that team up north get it on, none of that matters until after the game. So a 9.5 point spread worries me. Do I think Ohio State will win? Yes, but I don't know if they can cover a 9.5 point spread on the road in Ann Arbor against a team that they have not beaten since 2019. team. But I'm going to have faith in the Buckeyes winning this game. So I'm going to take the Ohio State Buckeyes and lay the 9.5. With an over under 43.5, I think it'll be under. I think it'll be under, but not by much. I'm going to have faith in it, but I reserve the right to change my mind. But I'm going to have faith in the Ohio State Buckeyes. I'm going to take the Bucks, lay the 9.5. Now, if I hear come tomorrow, Friday, that neither one of those wide receivers ain't playing, I'm changing my. I might even jump back on here and change my pick. But for now, I take the Buckeyes and the 9 and lay the 9.5. I just think they know they need this game more than Michigan does. Michigan definitely needs this game. They win, like I said, if Michigan wins, they're in the college football playoff. They possibly could get in the Big Ten championship game, depending on how some other games shake out. But they know they need this to keep their season going. Ohio State needs this to validate their season. Ohio State's going to the playoff, know that they win or lose this game. Everybody know that. Everybody know that. But if they want to validate this season, that's the team they got to get. So I think they're going to get them. Buckeyes minus the 9.5 over that team up north. So those are my 5 picks for my 5, what I believe, biggest matchups of the college football upcoming weekend. Now, let's shift gears to the NFL. That's right, we got to go to the NFL and make our picks. Reason why I'm making our picks Wednesday, because, this Thanksgiving football, there's Thanksgiving, there'll be a game on Thursday, Friday, there'll be a game, and then all the games will be on Sunday and Monday. So I'm going to pick all the games now. Starting with in Green Bay Packers taking on the Detroit Lions in Detroit. Lions are favored by 2.5 with an over and under 48.5. Lately, I've not been sold on the Lions defense. The Lions defense has taken a step back to me in recent weeks. They had to go in overtime to beat a Giants team that were missing both Jackson Dart and Cam Scatterbury. With Jalen Winston making razzle-dazzle plays, catching touchdowns on his own. I'm not sold about the Lions defense. However, Green Bay's defense, Michael Parsons he's coming into his own up there in Green Bay now. Will they be able to slow down? Because let's face it, the Lions offense, especially Jahmyr Gibbs had a career day his last game out. Over 250 scrimmage yards and 3 touchdowns? He had a day. Can the Packers defense slow him down? I know the Lions might be without Matt LaPorta, but will it matter? Still got Williams. They still got Amon-Ra St. Brown. Will the Packers be able to slow the Lions down enough to get a big win on the road? I say no. Give me the Lions minus the 2.5. Now, mind you, the Lions haven't won. They traditionally play on Thanksgiving, and they usually play at home. Mind you, I don't think the Lions have won. The Lions haven't won too many games at home on Thanksgiving over the previous 5-6 years. I have faith in the Blue Roar, though. Give me the Lions minus 2.5, and I'll take the over on the over under 48.5. That's the early game on tomorrow. That's the 1:00 game tomorrow. Next, this is probably going to be the biggest Thanksgiving matchup of all time. This game will probably be watched by so many more. I'm predicting it's going to be watched by at least 50 to 60 million people. 50 to 60 million people will be tuning into some point of this game while this game is going. They're making it probably the most viewed Thanksgiving game of all time. and that's the Kansas City Chiefs coming to Arlington, Texas to take on the Dallas Cowboys. Both teams desperate need of a win. Desperate. You got the Chiefs favored by 3.5 with an over and under of 52.5. Whichever quarterback makes more plays and makes less mistakes is going to win this game. Because you got two of the best by yardage, by average yards per game. Dak Prescott and Patrick Mahomes are the two best quarterbacks statistically by yards average per game in all of NFL. Mahomes has 270.5 yards per game. Dak's right behind him, 267.4 yards a game. Those are the two best. And they're going at it in Arlington. My thing is, my feeling is whichever quarterback makes the least amount of mistakes will win this game. Dallas's defense has improved somewhat. This will be a big test for them. But Patrick Mahomes has not been the Patrick Mahomes that we've known and loved all these previous 4 or 5 years. He has not been that guy. He needs to be that guy if he wants to leave Arlington with a win. Same thing with Dak Prescott. So, again, the quarterback that makes the least amount of mistakes will win this game. And I have the feeling it's going to be Patrick Mahomes. I refuse to bet against him. So, give me the Chiefs minus the 3.5, and I'll go under on over-under 52.5. Let me hurry up through these because I'm running tight on time. That's the Thursday afternoon game, the 4:30 game. That's the middle game of tomorrow's Thanksgiving trio. The last game tomorrow will be the Bengals against the Ravens. Ravens are favored by 7 playing at home for over under 51.5. There's no way I can, until the Bengals show me they can play some defense, and they can't, I'll take the Ravens. At home, yeah. At home, Lamar Jackson is now rounding into shape. Derrick Henry is rounding into shape. That defense rounding into shape. I told you, if they all get on the same page, Ravens going to be hard to stop. And they looking like they rounding into shape. Give me the Ravens minus the 7. I'll take the under over the 51.5. I'll go under. That game is 8:25 or 9. Yeah, that game is going to be the late game. 8:25 Eastern tomorrow night. So that's the late Thanksgiving game. Now on Friday we got one game. That will be the Bears traveling to Philadelphia to play the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles were favored by 7 with an over under of 44.5. I can't trust the Eagles. I really not. Not after they blew a 21-point lead. Something's wrong with them. I don't know if it's the infighting. I don't know if it's the play calling. I don't know if it's Jalen Hurts. Something is wrong with this team. Yes, I know they're 8-3, but it's a shaky 8-3. It's not like I would, if I was an Eagles fan, I wouldn't feel comfortable about this 8-3. Most teams, you 8-3, you want to celebrate. Hell, if my Browns was 8-3, I'd be dancing in the streets, butt naked every day for at least 5 minutes. But there's something shaky about this 8-3 Philadelphia Eagles squad. And I just don't think, I wish I could put my finger on it. How are they? It boggles my mind. How are they 8-3 with all this infighting and tension and nobody, team players not on the same page? Why are they 8-3? How? But this week, I'm gonna pick them to win because they're playing the Bears, but I don't think they'll cover 7 points. No, I think the Bears gonna make this game interesting. And they're going to win, and they'll probably lose, but they're going to lose late, and I think they'll cover the 7 points. So give me the Eagles to win, Bears to cover. I take the over on the 44.5 over under. That game is Friday, 3 o'clock Eastern, mid-afternoon game. Now, here we go back to the traditional Sunday games. We got the Rams traveling east to take on the Carolina Panthers. The Rams are favored by 10.5 with over under 45.5. Give me them. You know what? They can have them. LA Rams, I'm picking them. The Panthers can have them points. Hell, I give them 21 points. Rams, I'd say, are the best team in football. And they're going to show why. They're going to show the Panthers why. Give me the Rams minus the 10.5. And I'll go over on the 45.5. That's how strongly I believe in this team. At first, I didn't think they would. I poo-pooed them. After seeing what they did to Tampa Bay, they got my attention. Rams minus 10.5. That's the 1 o'clock kick. Arizona heading to Tampa Bay to take on the Buccaneers. Buccaneers favored by 2.5 with over on 43.5. Not sure about the availability of Baker Mayfield at this time, but I don't think he'll be playing. So it might be what's that? Teddy Bridgewater starting again. Excuse me. So either way, Cardinals are not that good. Yeah, they had that anomaly win in Dallas. That's because Dallas' defense. But ever since then, they've been spiraling downhill. That loss at home in overtime to the Jaguars, that's inexcusable, and it's probably painful. I don't think they've recovered from that. So I take the Bucks minus 2.5. It don't matter who's starting that quarterback, and I go under on the 43.5 over under. 1 o'clock kick. Next, we got the Jaguars heading to Tennessee to take on the Titans. Titans are terrible. Give me the Jaguars minus 6.5. I'll take the over on the 41.5. No, we don't need to say more about that. 1 o'clock kick. Next, two teams, and one is terrible and the other one is trying not to be so terrible. New Orleans Saints on the road at Miami Dolphins. Miami favored by 5.5 with over under 42.5. If Tua don't turn the ball, they win the game. Simple as that. If Tua doesn't turn over the ball, they win the game. Give me Miami minus 5.5 with over under 42.5. That's a 1 o'clock kick. Now, this game is intriguing to me. Got the 49ers heading to Cleveland to take on the Browns. Shedeur Sanders' first home start of his young NFL career. It's the first time he starts a game at home. And he ain't playing no Raiders. He ain't playing no chumps. 49ers are a damn good team. They're favored in this game by 5.5 with over under 36.5. I want to say the Browns will at least cover the spread on this one. But I got to see how this Shedeur Sanders holds up against a better, more quality opponent. So for now, I have to take the 49ers. I've seen them in action. I've seen Brock Purdy. I've seen those boys, McCaffrey. I've seen what they can do against lesser opponents. I don't know what the Browns can do with Shedeur Sanders and Kenshaw Judkins and Sampson. I haven't seen what they can do against a quality opponent. We'll find out this weekend. But I'll take the 49ers for now, minus the 5.5, and I'll go under on the 36.5. That's a 1 o'clock tick, too. Then you got the Atlanta Falcons heading to the Meadowlands to take on the New York Jets. Falcons are favored by 2.5 with an over and under 39.5. They play better against the Saints, but on the road, overall on the road, they've been wishy-washy. We all know that. The Jets are just bad. So this is just the lesser of two evils. I'll take the Falcons minus the 2.5, but I'm going under on the 39.5 spread. I just don't buy that. But give me the Falcons minus 2.5. 1 o'clock kick for that game. Next, we got the Houston Texans traveling to Indy to take on the Indianapolis Colts. This should be a good game. This should be a damn good game. Colts are favored by 4.5 with over under 44.5. I'm telling you, the Texans defense is no joke. But now they're going against one of the high offensive teams in the AFC, Indianapolis Colts, and they're licking their wounds after letting one go against the Kansas City Chiefs. Previous four. I don't expect that the Texans can hang with the Colts when the Colts are at home. I'm not suspecting they'll be able to hang with them. I'll take the Colts in this one minus the 4.5 with the over under 44.5. Next, that's a 1 o'clock kick. Now we have 4 o'clock games. We got the Minnesota Vikings heading to Seattle to take on the Seahawks. Seahawks are favored by 11.5 with a 41.5 over and under. And Minnesota has shown me nothing that will make me think they could cover that spread. Not on the road. They get walloped by teams at home. I seriously doubt they can go all the way to Seattle the way them boys are playing. Sam Darnold, Jackson Smith, and Jigba, and the like, and get a win. Even make it a quality loss. I don't see it happening. I'll take the Seahawks minus the 11.5, and I'll go under on the 41.5 over and under. That game's scheduled for a 4:05 kick. Next, two teams desperate for a win. Buffalo Bills at Pittsburgh. Buffalo's favored by 3.5 with over under 47.5. I want to pick Pittsburgh, but like I've been saying, I don't know what team to expect. I don't know what to expect out of Aaron Rodgers from 1 week to the next. I don't know what to expect out of their defense from 1 weekend to the next. So how can I pick them when they show no consistency whatsoever? They're up and down like a yo-yo. I got to pick the Bills. And you're talking about two teams that need a win. They need a win. But I got to go with the Bills. I don't know why. They finally got Josh Allen some help and signed a receiver today. But I'm just not sure on the Steelers defense. I don't know what I'm going to get from them from 1 week to the next. I'll take the Bills minus the 3.5. Over under, I'll go under on the over under at 47.5. That's a 4:30 kick. Next, Raiders heading to the Chargers. Chargers heading a favored by 9.5. I don't know why it's long and not bigger. Over under 41.5. Raiders stink. Enough said. Give me the Chargers minus the 9.5. I'll go over on the 41.5. Enough said. That's a 4:30 kick for anybody who's interested. And the last Sunday game is the night game. Denver Broncos heading to our nation's capital to take on the Washington Commanders. Denver's favored by 5.5 with over under 43.5. If Jalen Daniels don't play, Commanders don't have a chance, especially not against Denver Broncos front four. Got one of the better D lines in all of football. If Jalen Daniels is not playing, they don't have a chance. Give me the Broncos minus the 5.5, and I'm gonna go under on the 43.5 simply because I don't believe in Denver Broncos offense. I don't believe in it yet. Got to show me more from Bo Nix and Sutton and Doc. They got to show me more. That's an 8:20-ish kick Sunday night. And then we got the Monday nighter, the New England Patriots entertaining the New York Giants. Patriots favored by 7.5 with over under 46.5. Drake May, Diggs, the boys keep rolling. Now, I think 2 more wins, they'll wrap up a playoff spot. I think 2 more wins if some things shake out. 2 more wins, the Patriots will be the first team to wrap up a playoff spot. And I think this is one of those 2 wins they'll get this weekend against the New York Giants. They're at home, Monday nighter. That crowd's going to be hyped. And New York Giants, I mean, they played admirable against the Detroit Lions, but I don't know if they can be able to sustain that kind of offensive effort on another road game against another tough team, quality team. I'm just not sure, especially without Jackson Dart, Cam Scatterbo. Give me the Patriots minus the 7.5, and I go under on the over/under 46.5. Those are my NFL picks for the upcoming weekend. I believe it's now week 13. So, if you like my picks, if you think a pick should be different, let me know. Hit me over with a comment. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I certainly would appreciate it. I mean, like I said, I say it every day. I do this for you guys. I'm a fan doing this for your fans, for the fans. And we all have our opinions. And I like to listen to all of them, whether I agree with you or not, whether I think it's good, bad, or whether I think the opinion is all roses or it stinks like hot garbage. I listen to them, I read them, because you just want what all fans want. You want your team to succeed. So do I. But I tell it like it is. And I hope to hear the same from you. So, on behalf of my family and myself, to all you guys and your families, have a safe and wonderful Thanksgiving. Big O with the big mouth checking out of here, and I will catch you guys on Monday right here in the Total Sports Ozone. Happy Turkey Day.